Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is October 23rd, 2013. My name is Eric Peterson. Joining me tonight, back from... What were you doing last week? Picking koala fleas, Jess Clarkson?
Yes. Picking fleas off of koalas.
All right.
It's very rewarding.
Joining us for 2 weeks in a row, Mr. Kevin Byer.
I don't have any koala picking stories.
No.
Which is sad because I want to go koala picking.
But this week you're not filling in for anybody. You're just here.
I know, I appreciate
I'm
that.
filling in for... I know this.
You know his name. You got this.
I know his name.
You got it. Come on, buddy.
Aaron.
There you go.
I'm filling in for Aaron.
You're actually not filling in. You're just... You're bridging the gap until Aaron gets home.
Yeah, because he's currently sailing or something.
Is that what he's doing?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I think
He said he's on a lake, so...
Yeah, he sent something about being on a lake, and then he has a long drive, and... I don't know. He's just going to jump in later. So randomly, sometime in this show, Aaron's just going to appear and start talking.
I like it.
So...
Hopefully with no introduction.
Oh, absolutely not. It's just going to be... And just kind of squeeze him in as if he was never gone.
I hope I don't even notice the fact that comes in.
You don't even
No, you'll
notice.
You'll hear the dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But if we could squeeze him in so like you just don't notice that suddenly you're talking to a third person, that'd be pretty slick.
Well, I didn't remember his name, so I'm sure I won't be paying attention when he starts talking.
Oh, man. So, Jess, what's going on? We missed you last week.
Yeah.
We had some great conversation.
I'm a little sad I missed it. I really felt like you guys could have been making a little bit more fun of Aaron when he was saying certain things. I was a little disappointed in that, but...
Like what? What did we miss?
I can't remember the exact details, but there was a lot of, like, shit-colored star comments that he was making, and it was just unbelievable.
Wasn't the whole thing kind of shit-colored star because he didn't play anything?
Yeah, so I felt better about myself as well, so that was good.
Yeah, last week was... What was last week? Mother 3?
Yeah,
Yep.
Mother 3.
Oh.
Chapter 2.
I haven't even started Chapter 3 yet.
Yeah, I haven't started Chapter 3 either.
You got to get on it. That's next week. Ugh.
You sure?
We're going every other week.
True story.
Maybe you're going every other week, but, I might have things to do.
I don't think you do. I really don't think you have other things to do. No, you were asking me why I sounded sad before the show.
Yeah, because you sounded sad.
I don't think I was... Okay, maybe I was, because for some reason, today, I got done with work and I was super hungry. It was probably from all the caffeine I've had today. For some reason, caffeine makes me really hungry. And I knew we were going to be doing the show, and the show overlaps with dinner time, and my body just couldn't cope with that, so I made Christy stop at Taco Bell. Like, I just got to get something to eat, tied me over. So as we're pulling up...
Taco Bell.
Yeah, Taco Bell.
Okay.
Did I say it wrong?
No, just Taco Bell's so gross.
Oh, Taco Bell's great.
Of all the taco places, though, I mean... what
and you're
else?
in America. You have, you're in Arizona, so I feel like you have way better taco places.
You do realize that American tacos are nothing like authentic Mexican tacos.
Yeah, but you have, Chipotle, which is way
not
better
a taco
than...
place. That's a burrito place.
Oh, my God.
Burritos and tacos are not the same thing.
But anyway, you pick Taco Bell.
Same thing.
There's Del Taco, which is basically a public restroom where they shit into shells and serve it to you.
That's Taco Bell.
No, these are 39-cent tacos.
Oh, I would love me some 39-cent tacos.
Mm-hmm. The only saving grace is that they have Mr. Pibb on tap.
Is that the place that we went to when I was down there?
Yes.
Yes.
And we got
and they had the Dorito tacos?
No, that's Taco Bell.
Oh.
But Del Taco is the place where we stopped on the way out to E3 and had an Eric incident.
Ah, yes.
Because we got shrimp tacos from a fast food joint.
That's really smart.
I was totally fine with the shrimp tacos.
They were fantastic. They were delicious, but
They just had a little bit of vengeance in mind.
they did. So, anyway, we pull
What
in.
is Mr. Pibb? Sorry. Is that like Dr. Pepper?
Kind of. It used to be Mr. Pibb. Now it's called Pibb Extra. And it will take Dr. Pepper out back and molest it any day of the week.
Huh.
It's hard it's really hard to find, though. But when you do find it, if it's on tap...
On tap.
Yeah. Saddle up, because you're going to be
Then
there
you
a
can
while.
just get tons of Mr. Pibb over and over.
Yeah, and I still refuse to call it Pibb Extra, because it's a stupid name.
Yeah. True story.
Yeah.
Mr. Pibb.
Yeah.
Much better name.
Mister. Anyway, we pull into Taco Bell, and I was just going to get a couple tacos, and then I saw the big sign for the big box with the PlayStation 4 on it, winner every 15 minutes. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, nothing bad happened with the PlayStation Vita thing, so of course I'm going to try it. Order one of the big boxes, and hand the guy my money, and I'm all giddy. I'm like, Christy, we're going to win, and I'm not going to have to pay for mine. And guy hands me the box through the window, and we drive away, and it's got NBA shit all over it. Like, what the hell is... Where's my PS4 stuff? So I make Christy swing around and go back into the parking lot, and I walk in with the big box, and I look at the guy, and I'm like, where's my PS4 box? And the guy, probably 14 years old, starts digging around, and then the manager comes out and she goes, yeah, I don't have any more. Like, can I get my money back? Because that's kind of why I bought it. Nope, sorry, we don't have any more.
Should have just taken the food
Bastards.
and just thrown it in her face.
See, I would have had I not been as hungry as I was.
Uh,
I mean, I had that whole thing gone by the time we made it around the corner.
But you can just go back like the next day because all contests are like no purchase necessary.
So I could just walk in and take a box?
You should be able to because they can't have contests where you have to pay for entrance.
no, the
like a
way
law.
that works is you have to like mail in a request form for one of them, and then they'll mail you back one.
Well,
You can't go to a store that has the things. You have to actually contact the company that's putting it on.
Oh.
I think the main issue is that most of those codes, from what I hear, are readily accessible on the outside of the box, so the employees have probably already taken all the codes anyway.
Probably.
Bastards.
But I was kind of
When I
pissed
used to
off.
work at McDonald's, I would steal cases and cases of the McDonald's Monopoly pieces.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
I worked at Tim Hortons and I didn't like when I would go to other Tim Hortons, I'd be like, can I please have a non-roll-up cup because I'm not allowed to participate?
But you wouldn't give it to your family members or anything like that?
No, because they weren't allowed to participate either. Like, I was like rule book Jessica when I worked at Tim Hortons. It's a little embarrassing.
How long ago did you work at Tim Hortons?
Like 15 years ago?
I had my very first Tim Hortons experience up there when I went and visited all of them, and I was not expecting it to live up to the hype, because every time you guys would come on the show and you'd have your Tim Hortons coffee and be like, hey, it's roll-up cup time. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? No coffee can be that good that it warrants, going just for roll-up cup. And that place is pretty good.
Yeah,
And
it is awesome.
I don't know if I liked it more because we were in a mall where a pickup hockey game was happening. Or if
That happens in every mall.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. People just carry their gear in and like, let's play.
Did you get a donut?
I don't think so. No, I don't think we did. Because guys don't go to a coffee shop and get donuts together.
Did you order double-double?
I ordered whatever Oliver ordered for me.
So yeah, probably a double-double.
What's a double-double? Double coffee, double cream?
Double cream, double sugar. But
Oh.
close.
No, I got it without sugar because I hate sugar in my coffee.
Speaking of sugar,
Oh, it happened.
What up?
Hi, Aaron.
hey guys,
Welcome back from sailing.
thank you. It was a lot of fun. That caught me a nice walleye.
So, speaking of sugar,
Speaking of sugar, Your sugar's here. That's me.
Pour some sugar on me.
Nick. Yeah.
Oh my God. Welcome.
But I am here. But I'm not going to be able to stay long.
Of course.
Wait, you're going to show up late and leave early.
Yeah. It's pretty much what's going to happen. But, that's still like way better than what Jess did last week.
Those koala bears needed help.
And it was way better than it was with you, Eric Peterson, 2 weeks ago. Like, see, at least I made the attempt to get on the show.
I'm sorry that I can't podcast from Mount St. Helens.
You could have tried. I don't think you tried.
You're right. I didn't try hard enough.
But I did make it home. But, yeah.
So time frame, what are we looking at? How long do we get the sugar?
Until my wife taps me on the shoulder.
So it could be 30 seconds. It could be 3 hours.
It could be, yes. She needs it, though. She's got a lot of stuff that she was using the computer when I got home. So I figured I told her I'd get on real quick.
So here, let me ask this pertinent question and get it out of the way.
Okay.
Did you play any of the games for this week?
I did, actually.
Okay, good. So we can get to that and talk.
All right.
I want to get back to this thing with Kev, though, with stealing the... I shouldn't say stealing because that's incriminating. You stole all of the Monopoly pieces. Did you win anything?
Oh, well, tons of, burgers and milkshakes and stuff like that, but never anything good.
So do they specifically withhold important pieces so that nobody ever wins those major prizes? Because you never hear of anybody winning those things.
No, I mean, the pieces are all on the fry cases, right? And it's face down, so you can't actually look at what the piece is at any time. I mean, unless it's some big conspiracy with all the high-ups at McDonald's that they're just like, no, these people will never get their boardwalk. Ha, 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 ha.
Well, a few years ago, Pepsi had that win $1 billion, and you never heard of anybody winning that.
I don't think anyone ever in the world would have a contest where you win $1 billion.
I'm going to fact-check myself right now.
You should probably fact-check yourself.
What do you... Yeah, Pepsi.
Walking out your ass.
Pepsi $1 billion sweepstakes.
$1 billion.
Right here. On April 10th, 2003, that ran from May 1st to September 14th. Pepsi printed 1 billion special codes, which could be redeemed on... Oh, maybe they weren't... Maybe it wasn't winning $1 billion. They billed it as winning $1 billion. All of the codes redeemed, which Pepsi estimated to be 200 to 300 million, 100 were chosen to appear in a 2-hour live game show style television prize. Yeah, the U.S. $1 billion prize was an annuity to be paid in 40 annual payments. So yes, somebody did win $1 billion.
40 annual payments is still $25 million a year?
Well, it said years 1 through 20, $5 million each. Years 21 through 39, $10 million each. And then on year 40, you get $710 million. So you're
guaranteed before year 40, you were getting your ass assassinated.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
But you could take the cash option of $250 million. If the $1 billion prize is won. So I'm assuming they set it up so that nobody won it. So there, I fact-checked myself, and I was right.
Or like an 86-year-old won it who died the next year.
Yeah, and you can't pass that down to your kids.
I really want to win that cash for life. I would like that.
That's why you got to do the J.G. Wentworth and get your cash now. Because they do that. You can do that for lottery wins and things like that.
Now you got that stupid-ass song stuck in my head. 877 cash now.
Something like that, yeah.
Stupid.
All right, so...
You're going to just, jump in and take over?
Yeah, I'm going to just take over.
Just because you're on a time frame doesn't mean we need to be.
I'm going to take over the show. Actually, I do need to do something fast. Let me pull it up here. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
Is this... No, don't read that email yet.
What email?
Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, there was an email that somebody wanted me to read.
Yeah. If you're here for the email segment, you're here. If not, we're not jumping ahead.
No, it was about an email. About the game that I played.
Oh, we're just going to jump right into games. No more chit-chat?
Well, you guys can chit-chat when I'm gone.
We can't just go backwards in the show.
Have you ever been on a podcast before?
We can do whatever we want to do. It's our podcast, right?
Yeah, you're right. My God.
We don't know what's happening. I can't even get into it. But either way, how's everybody? Doing well?
Well, in about 3 hours, you can listen to the show at the beginning part that you missed and find out how we all are.
All right. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I was on a lake fishing. It was our last day of fishing on the lake, so we went out there. It was snowing. It was snowing on our way out to the lake, so that was fun.
I heard it's starting to suck up there.
Yeah, it sucks bad. Real bad.
What state are you in? Is it Minnesota or Wisconsin?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Or Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Oh, so you're in mini Canada.
Yeah,
So,
Canada. Yeah.
Which important state is that by?
Wisconsin.
Which real, actually important state?
Minnesota is the important state because it's surrounded by North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa.
There's even less in those states than there is in Minnesota.
Yeah, so that's why Minnesota's the main state.
Wow. All right,
Unless
so
you
you
like-
live in nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowheresville, America.
You live in the land of 10,000 lakes.
At least Wisconsin has cheese. What do you guys have, the Vikings?
No, we don't even have those anymore.
What?
I think a Pee Wee team took over that or something. I don't know who those people are.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Is that like a sport joke? Because it was lost on me.
Yeah, I did.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently he's
I
not
missed
happy.
it for a second,
It
too,
would be
and
like the equivalent of I don't know. I can't think of anything that clever. But yeah,
Wow.
I'm lame. I know.
Sweet. So, I guess we could talk about games.
Well, I'd like to talk about Spyro the Dragon.
Did you actually play that?
I did actually play it. I have a copy that I found that I didn't know I had, but I found that it was on the PS1. Played it on my PS1.
So, hold on. I was talking to Jess about this before. Earlier today, I got bored, and I went through every email.
Yeah, embarrassing.
This is embarrassingly bored. I went through every email we have ever received, and I cataloged every game suggestion we've ever gotten, who it's from, and the date that they recommended it, and then whether or not we've played it.
Uh-huh.
And the statistics are kind of bad because
Did you color code it?
no, not yet. But with some of our suggestions in there, we have almost 150 different game suggestions, of which we've played about 25.
What up? A quarter of... No, just kidding. How many did you say?
I think
Well,
of 150, you said?
Yeah, that's not...
I mean, that's
25.
pretty good, though, because
That's
one
all
person
right.
could email in and have, like...
And that one person emailed like 8 games he wanted us to try to play.
Yeah, screw those people. We don't have time to play 8 games.
I really do
Actually,
appreciate that you're in the Wii now. You're like
Oh,
on
sorry.
Team
You-
Factory Sealed.
You guys don't have time.
No, you can't take that away. You're in it now.
you're in.
Locked and loaded.
You have crossed the event horizon. You are in the gravity suck. That's a space joke.
No turning back.
I just counted up the yeses, and we have 41 yeses out of 140 game suggestions. So, yeah, we're okay.
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this week, we did have a suggestion for Spyro, and that, I don't remember who recommended that. I think it was Hayden Biddy.
No, I think it was the Rose.
Rose Torres, your lover?
No.
In and around.
Yeah.
Tell us about Spyro, Aaron.
So Spyro is a game where it still holds up. I was enjoying playing it, man. And I first put it in, I didn't have a memory card. So then I'm like, I'll just skip it. I'll throw it in later. Not realizing that if you don't start with a memory card, it won't let you save.
Really?
So I played it for like an hour. And I'm like, I can't save it. I guess I'll start over. So I went back and played it again. And basically it starts off and it's like a dragon doing an interview for like a TV or something. And he's talking about the bad guy, Garok or something like that, Gnork or something. And finally he gets fed up with being called, dumb and ugly and all that. So he basically zaps all the dragons and the crystals, and Spyro has to save the day. So you start off by breaking free one of the crystallized dragons, and then he tells you got to collect 10, free 10 dragons, and you go to this other world. And it kind of plays out like Skylanders does a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, so you
That's
have that.
right. You're a
going around
Skylanders guy.
Yeah. And I freed, the dragons, went to the other world and started playing. And then there's a little blue thief that you have to capture to get like the little dragon eggs back. But it's a very simplistic game to play, but it's just fun. And the graphics weren't like, oh my god, awful to play either. Like, it was actually stood up pretty good for a PlayStation 1 game. It's very blocky and pixelated, but the gameplay was pretty decent. The only thing that I would say that sucked about it was the cam wrangles. But back then, the cam wrangles were always kind of terrible.
Well, they were just kind of coming into their own with 3D gaming and trying to figure out the whole camera thing.
Yeah.
But
I
I remember seeing Spyro when it first came out, and I'll admit that I fell into that camp of like, I'm not going to play that because that looks like a My Little Pony style game.
That's why I wanted to play it.
But the only time I did play is, remember back when PS1 came out, they always had all those free demo discs that came up with games. There was a demo disc that had Spyro on it, and that's my extent of interaction with Spyro.
And I think that one was the Enter the Dragonfly demo that came out, and that game was a little bit different than the Spyro the Dragon.
Really?
That one had more of a platformer to it, an element to it.
Okay, maybe
that I remember. At least that's the one I remember playing on the demo disc. So,
I can't say I've ever played Spyro. Have you guys played it?
I always
think I was in
wanted
the
to.
same boat as you, where the game looks just a little bit too cartoony for me.
and the voice acting in it's pretty good too, which I thought was really cool for a PS1 game.
He talks?
Yeah, he talks, and then the dragons talk to him.
I guess I always thought it was a girl.
Yeah, no, Spyro's a boy, Sender's a girl.
He's purple.
Yeah,
what's
purple's
wrong
a
with
boy
being
color.
No, it's
Yeah.
Barney. Barney's a boy.
Barney is not a boy.
Yeah.
Barney
Totally
is
a boy.
No.
Barney's a sex offender.
I believe I heard that story somewhere.
Oh, there's an actual story?
Isn't
Yeah, I
that
heard an actual story of a guy that played Barney and who got caught for touching somebody or something. I don't remember.
Well, isn't that the kind of along the same lines as the dude that does the ShamWow commercials apparently was a prostitute abuser?
No,
Yeah,
that's
probably.
Slap Chop.
It's the same guy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
No, Billy Mays wasn't the sex offender. The guy who does the Slap Chop.
I know, and the guy that did
Billy
the Slap
Mays
Chop.
is totally the sex offender.
No, Billy Mays
is dead.
No, Billy Mays is like the
never mind.
friendly, jolly giant who couldn't hurt a fly.
What's the guy's name?
He was addicted to
ShamWow.
drugs.
ShamWow guy. His name is Vince Offer.
That's it.
Yeah.
He got offer.
Oh.
So clever.
Right. Yeah, I definitely recommend checking out Spyro if you have a chance. It's actually a lot of fun.
See, I can't imagine that series has survived as long as it has. But they didn't make a current generation Spyro, did they?
They did it for the Xbox 360. And I believe it came out for PS3.
What is it?
It was Spyro, Legend of the Dragon, or something like that, or
Enter the Dragon?
not Into the Dragon, but something Dragon. It was a big long title. Dawn of the Dragon, I think it was, or something like that. I don't remember.
I went back and played...
The Firemen, huh?
No, I forgot to mention this last week. A couple shows ago, I think it was the one before I left for Seattle, we decided to put this question out to our listeners because it's always scary what they can conjure up and dredge up for us. And for years I've been trying to figure out what that stupid game was where you're the helicopter and you're the Jeep and you can play together and one's flying and one's driving and it's side-scrolling, ton of fun. I had a couple people actually reply to me, Kaz and Brian Howard both told me that the name of the game is called Silkworm. And sure enough, I look it up, and that's exactly what it was. And to be honest, I was kind of disappointed.
Have you played that game when you were younger, or was it just?
I did. When I was a kid, I had a ritual where I don't know why it's sticking out in my head as Tuesday, but every Tuesday my parents would take me to Videoland and let me rent a couple games. And I would always go on the weekend and pick out what games I was going to rent for next Tuesday. And this one, for some reason, just stuck in my mind as being a ton of fun because I rented it one time when I had a friend over and we had an absolute blast playing it, simply because it was a multiplayer on the couch game where you're both playing on the same screen at the same time. And at that time, it wasn't too terribly common for stuff like that, but we just had an absolute blast playing it. And ever since then, I've just been trying to go back and play it. But I guess in the years since, I've just built up this grandiose image of what this game is, and I'm picturing like top-notch NES graphics, like really intense jeeps and helicopter battles, and it wasn't anything remotely close to that. It was very, very flat graphics, very small helicopter, very small jeep, not much interaction between the two. The enemies are kind of dull.
I totally zoned out. What game are we talking about?
Silkworm.
Okay.
But
sorry.
I saw you were saying goodbye to Aaron. He is gone.
Yes.
Oh, really? Already? Goodbye, Aaron.
Thanks for saying bye.
He was making a silent exit so he wouldn't distract us, and then I got distracted.
What a nice guy. But I don't know. I think if we were to set up that Hamachi and then have two of us play it, I think it would be 10 times more fun actually having two people play it. I don't know. I was kind of disappointed. It was probably one of those games that was better left to nostalgic purposes instead of actually indulging in it.
Yeah, do you feel bad that you went back and played it again?
I actually kind of do, because now I know that I think I had elevated to such a god status of a game without really knowing what it was that there's no way it could have lived up to my expectations.
Huh.
So, unfortunately, that was kind of depressing. So, to offset that depression, I popped in one of my favorite, I'm not going to say my favorite, but one of my favorite N64 games, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire.
I don't remember if I ever played that one. Break it down.
That was a launch title N64 game. So, the story with this one is that Christmas of whatever year it was, I don't remember dates that things came out, my grandmother, bless her soul, found one of the last N64s in town at a Toys R Us and bought it for me and gave it to me on Christmas. This was later in the afternoon from the same day I got my PlayStation 1. So I was already in hog heaven, high on cloud 9. I opened up my N64 and I didn't have any games to play with it because they weren't packaging games in with them. So we went down to the local Blockbuster, and this was the only game they had in stock. Just everything else was out. So I rented this one, and this was my first experience with an N64. I hadn't seen anything else. I hadn't seen pictures. I hadn't seen videos. Nothing. So this is the first thing I put in, and just my mind exploded playing this game because at the time I was a really big Star Wars fan, and this is before the new trilogy came out, and one of my favorite scenes from any of the Star Wars movies is that Battle of Hoth, where they're out in the snowfields wrapping up the big walkers and the AT-ATs, and that is the opening mission of the game. And
okay, I'd have played this one, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're in the snow speeder and you're shooting the drones. You go through like four segments of that battle, and then the next one they get progressively harder. And by the very last segment, you're wrapping up the 2 or 3 of those giant walkers, and you've got like 5 or 6 AT-ATs and a bunch of the clone drones out there. And it's still to this day that remains one of my favorite flight missions in any game of all time. And I don't know if it's because it's really that good, or if it's just because that was my first experience with like a 3D flying game.
But you played it and still loved it?
Oh, I plugged it in, I sat on the couch, and I I sat on the floor all cross-legged, just staring up at the TV, all giddy and smiley. And
Don't you find it hard to play N64 games on newer TVs, though?
Not really. It actually didn't look too terribly bad. Oh. But so I didn't play enough of it to like recap my knowledge of the storyline. And from what I remember, there really isn't a huge overarching story. But it ties in a lot with The Empire Strikes Back. You're this mercenary dude, and for some reason you're just put on these little random quests. And the first-person shooter controls on it aren't the best. They're pre-twin stick shooters, so you've got your left stick, which moves you forward, backward, and then looks you left and right. And unlike GoldenEye, where the D buttons acted as your strafe buttons, you had to use the shoulder button or the R button to engage your strafe. So like circle strafing around corners got to be really cumbersome. But the game actually implemented some sort of an auto-aim system where you could just come around a corner and start hammering on your laser, and it would target anybody in the room, so you didn't have to worry too terribly much about where you were aiming. But it was still difficult enough where you had to be a little bit precise. And in all, I like it. It's one of those games that it's got a lot of fantastic missions in it. You get to play as Boba Fett. You get to fly the Millennium Falcon out in space, shooting down TIE fighters, and a lot of first-person shooter stuff. So there's a lot of different styles of gameplay within it.
Very cool.
Not as good as the... Actually, I don't want to say not as good, but it's... Yeah, I think it's about as good as the Rebel Squadron or Rogue Squadron, whatever that one is on N64. But I think that one's just strictly a flying game. Yes, no.
I don't remember that one. I played, I know that I've done that one, but I'm pretty sure that was one of those games where I never made it past the first mission.
The Shadows of the Empire?
Yeah.
Really? It is... I'm not going to lie, it is a difficult game, because I loaded it up and I saw that all my other profiles that I had created obviously had stupid names like Poop and Diaper Face and stuff like that. Were all set to they were set to easy.
Not surprised.
I'm like, why was I playing this game on easy? So I'm like, fine, I'm just going to start this one up on medium. And
so the question wasn't, why did I name myself Diaper Face?
No.
It was... Okay.
Why was I playing it on easy? I know full well why I named myself Diaper Face.
We gotta know now.
Because I was 12.
Oh.
And infatuated with anything having to do with poop.
Still really, though?
What?
Okay.
So what if I named my character last night Poop again?
Again.
Oh, God.
Doesn't take much to entertain me. But no, the second mission, they do have checkpoints, but you're only given so many lives. And the second mission, you have to go through and restore generators so you can take the Millennium Falcon and fly out. But you're going through this snow base, and there's like people are going to get pissed off because I don't know the names of all the creatures in Star Wars, but I'm just going to call them giant Yetis marching around. You got to kill all them, and then when you get to the very end of the level, you have to
They're
fight...
called Wampas,
Wampas?
Wampa.
Isn't that what Indians used to pay each other with?
No, they...
What?
Instead of... I'm trying not to sound racist for once. It's wampum.
Wampum.
And I am not entirely sure if that's money.
It was beads. They would pay each other with wampum.
Okay, I will believe you.
I think.
Even though I shouldn't.
You guys didn't believe me on the Pepsi $1 billion.
Yeah, I'm staying neutral
Still
on this
don't
one.
believe you.
Wampum, traditional sacred shell beads in eastern woodland tribes of indigenous people, included white shell beads. Yeah, I'm right. Okay, continue. Wampas? Is that what they're...
Wampas, yeah. Wampa.
Okay. So you get to the end and you have to fight an AT-AT in a hangar by himself, and the thing just absolutely whooped my ass. And when you die, you have to do the entire mission over again. So that's as far as I... No, I did beat him because I went back through and I found a way to just kind of sit around the corner and shoot him with my blaster, and it took 10 minutes. And then I did the next mission where you're in the Millennium Falcon shooting down TIE fighters and and we started the show. But no, the N64 had a ton of good Star Wars games. I think they had it probably sucks now, but I have fond memories of it. And after playing Silkworm, I'm not going to go back and play this one. But the Battle for Naboo, I think, is what it was called.
I don't know the chances of actually having a good game based on Star Wars Episode 1.
No, you take that back. Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racing is a phenomenal game.
That is fun, actually. I love that game.
Okay.
I have yet to find a bad version. The arcade version, we're actually in the Pod Racer.
Yeah, that one.
I own that game.
The actual arcade machine?
Yeah, I'm a champion at that.
No, you own the arcade machine where you're sitting.
No, I mean, I own it. Like, I'm wicked awesome.
Oh,
I get it.
Damn it.
It would be way cooler if I actually physically owned it.
No, that game's phenomenal. The PS2 version, I don't think was as good as the N64 version, though. But then again, I only played the N64 one. But
True
yeah,
story.
You're right. Games based on Episode 1 generally sucked. So, what else did you guys play this week? Enough of me talking.
Fireman?
The Firemen.
What the fuck?
Roger Pottersnack.
What a serious fuck.
Roger Pottersnack suggested that to us. And I was proofreading the emails this week, and Michael Kelso had a great analogy for it. And after playing it, it's a perfect analogy. He said that it's exactly like zombies ate my neighbors, except fire ate my coworkers.
I think it's just like Smash TV.
That's the name of the game I was trying to think of.
It's so ridiculously literal and the longest intro ever.
Oh, that intro is pretty deadly.
It was brutal.
I'll ask you. I have the intro, the text to it. Should we read the intro? Because it is fucking terrible.
I won't be able to handle that.
I'll give you the first couple lines. Everything is very matter of fact. It's like it's written by a 7th grader who was told, just write a bunch of statements.
It was like it was written by a programmer. Like, these are all of the things.
Yeah, this is what you need to know to enjoy this game. So it starts off, there's a big burning building in the background. It goes, the year is 2010. Civilization has progressed little in the past 20 years. It's winter in New York. The annual Christmas party at the chemical company building is underway. The time is 6 p.m. Just stupid crap like that. And then at the very end, it talks about Peter and Daniel. And then at the very end, it goes, Pete and Daniel will enter the building through the east exit. ...
Is that I was pretty impressed that they were going in through the east.
I would have gone in through the north.
That is scary right there.
I know. They didn't even talk about wind speed. That should have played a role in where the wind was coming from.
This came out in
time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So break it down for us, Jess. What is the Firemen?
You go into a building, and there's fire. It's a really dramatic fire. And you have to put out all these fires. But then you have because you had a hose, and then you had that powder that you could throw down. And then you had something else that only came up sometimes, I think.
That was are you talking about the bomb that you could throw and just neutralize everything in the room?
Yeah.
That was one of your other buttons.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was only available sometimes.
Yeah, because you only had a couple of them.
Yeah, you had a fixed amount.
Wasn't really paying attention when I was playing this game. So,
there's 3 things on the screen.
Shh. So difficult. And then you had a life support monitor that was measuring if you were near someone. And I saved someone. I saved their life.
You didn't actually save them. Daniel.
Yeah, whatever. He took all the credit, but I was the one who found her. And then
was
we
that
had
Daniel
to look.
Or was that Phil?
I think it was Daniel. Either Daniel or Peter.
Oh, was it Peter? I thought it was Phil.
No, it's definitely Pete.
But then what were the bombs that you were looking for? Were they bombs, or did I make that up to make it more interesting?
So the point of the game is there's fire in in a chemical company, and for some reason, who holds a Christmas party at a chemical plant?
Cool kids.
An
Did
unattended.
it say during the intro that it was Christmas, or did they just drop that on you in the middle of the game?
No, it says in the beginning, and then it
'cause
says
I must have missed that because when they were talking later, it's like, who does this on Christmas Day? I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
apparently
Merry Christmas.
a fire broke out in the kitchen, and there is a chemical called what's the name of it? MDL that's in the basement. So your whole point of the game is to collect all the MDL and take it to the roof and let it explode on the roof so it blows up the water tank and puts out the fire. So instead of just blowing up the water tank to put out the fire, you have to take the dangerous chemical to the top and blow it up.
I just want to know what kind of backwards fire department does this town have where they're like doing a powwow at the fire marshal's truck, and they're thinking to themselves, all right, guys, well, how do you want to put out this fire?
Yeah.
Well, we could use our hoses and put it out the old-fashioned way. Or...
Well, it's in the future, so obviously blowing up a water tower is what they do in 2010.
Hindsight. Wow.
Another thing that I thought was really cool, that even though technology hadn't really progressed, there were like R2D2 / Dalek-esque robots that were running around that were on fire.
Yes.
I hated those things. Took so much damage from those things.
I know, they're bastards.
It took me forever. I would say probably the middle of the second or third level before I realized that you had a strafe button.
What? There's a strafe button?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know
because
that.
No way.
Yes, there is. The controls, they're cool because you move in all 8 directions and you shoot your hose, but if you want to walk down, you have to turn and then you have to walk down and then face what you want to shoot and shoot it from there. Or as you're walking and shooting, you walk into the fire, but you can face where you want, hold the R button, and then move up and down and you'll strafe while you're shooting.
Huh.
So that made the first 2 boss battles infinitely more difficult because I didn't know you could strafe.
I
didn't know you
would
could
go in
strafe either.
circles. Like, I would stand on one spot and then spin myself around and shoot water because I thought that was fun.
Well,
So I did that for a good 5 minutes.
I thought it was interesting that you mentioned Smash TV because the whole time I kept playing this, I'm thinking, if they were to remake this, and I have no idea why they would, but if they were to remake it, this game would be phenomenal as a twin-stick shooter.
Yeah. But you couldn't really do it as a twin stick because you can shoot up and you can shoot at the ground, right?
Yeah, but that would just be something that you could build in where, like, oh, you hit R1 and you switch your weapon. But the level, I thought the levels were fantastic. So you did you notice that at the end you actually got a score and extra lives based on how much of the fire you contained?
I didn't really get that far.
Because there were
Was that based on how much fire you contained, or I thought it was based on like how much wasted water you had, like how much you were shooting at nothing?
it could have been that, but I know that they gave you a percentage at the end of how much fire you contained because I started going back through the levels and making sure to get all the crap on the floor because the first time I played through it, I just plowed through and cut a path through everything, and then the second time I went through and I was actually putting out all the little fires behind the bushes and down hallways that had nothing to them, and just making sure to get everything because I didn't want to burn the building down.
So did you get close to 100%? Is that what you're trying to say?
I got 100% on the first level, and then after that, it got progressively worse because the levels started to get more difficult. And I thought it was kind of cool for the technology at the time how they digitized the habits of fire. They had the arching fire going across the walkways, but then they also had that fire that would come rolling down the hallways. It's just I thought it was really interesting. Then they incorporated later in the levels. They incorporated the whole concept of backdraft, where when you would open a door, you'd have to open it from the side. Otherwise, there might be a really strong wave of fire that comes through and kills you. So this is backdraft the game.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't get that far. I got bored, and then I died, and I was like, eh.
Did you at least make it to the first boss?
Yeah. And I died with the boss, and then I was like, eh.
I had no idea how they were going to tackle boss battles, but I thought it was actually kind of neat how they did it.
I actually
just
did,
having
yeah.
a piece of fire that you have to fight.
Yeah. It's just they took the same enemy and made it bigger.
Beefed it up.
But they're difficult. I'll admit I died a couple times on the first boss. The second boss is even more difficult, and then the third level is damn near impossible.
I found the second boss really easy. The third boss, that's where I died and stopped, so I'm like, well, screw this. Third boss is too hard.
Well, yeah,
second boss is really easy.
What was the third boss?
Third boss was the robot that was on fire.
That's right, okay. I think that's about as far as I made it, too.
Yeah, that super robot was way too strong.
It's a cool game. I'm impressed, though. Like, I went into it expecting it to be real dumb, especially after that introduction.
Yeah, I was really, the introduction really, I was like, what? Seriously?
This game's gonna blow.
Yeah.
But no, I could see how, especially if you've got a friend and you sit down and play this together, that'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I had
You
a ton
would,
of fun
like,
just
you'd
playing by myself.
Yeah, it was a
Play
blast.
the different characters?
I think you just, one person plays as Pete and one person plays as Daniel. I don't think you can unlock different skins and go in as Sheila, the bikini-clad firefighter.
No, I just wasn't sure if one person, like, because they're the two characters, I didn't know if you could play, like, each player one, player two.
I don't know.
But the other one...
One person controls the body and the other person controls the fire hose.
I really like that. That would be fun. But the other guy had an axe, and the axe seems like it would be way better because he could kill all the mini fires.
But how does an axe put out a fire?
Because you
hit it with your axe.
And then it breaks up the wood.
Fire.
So then the fire,
That makes no sense.
It totally makes absolutely every sense in the entire world.
Every sense.
Yes. Have you ever done a campfire and then when there's like a log that's completely burnt but it's still embers, you smash it up so it'll cool down faster?
Usually when you smash it up, it starts more of a fire.
Only for like a second and then it dies down again.
And all that, in that second, it just needs an ember to get on your clothes and light you up and you're dead.
False.
An axe
Or if you have to put out a fire and you don't have water, you just spread around the fire so that there's less wood for it to grab.
That's what I'm saying.
What
or
about...
you can do sand, like, are you afraid of the dark?
So don't firefighters wear flame retardant clothing? Couldn't they just do stop, drop, and roll and just roll all over the fire and put it out that way?
Yes, they could.
Seems like that's a lot of wasted energy and rolling around.
It's got to be more effective than hitting it with a hammer.
No, I swear. That is, I'm going to look up firefighter schools and how you put out fires, and it'll be smashing a fire with an axe.
That's not right.
True story.
I don't think so. I would highly recommend this game to people. At least play it. Just give it a shot. It's good. It's a good suggestion. Did you guys play anything else?
I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to find Fire Axe.
Kev, what else have you been playing?
Final Fantasy VII.
How's that going?
It's going good.
That's it. You're just going to give me that? You're not going to... We got people who want to know. We got people who are excited for a Final Fantasy VII show.
I think I'm only about 3 or 4 more hours in since last time.
I finally got out of Coral Prison.
Did you? I think that's actually exactly where I am. I just got the buggy.
Yeah, I just got out of the buggy and I'm heading down to Cosmo Canyon.
Yeah, we are at the exact same point.
Whew. So how do we want to do this Final Fantasy VII show? Do we want to do it per disc, or do we want to just do a whole show, just whole game?
Whole show, whole game.
All right, we'll do it. Jess, have you played Final Fantasy VII enough to participate?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so much.
Would you like to start playing a 40-hour game right now?
So that you could potentially have it done in a month to play with us, or to talk with us.
I think I could do that.
I'm thinking way longer than a month.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
I
because in a
could do,
month
like,
from now,
longer
get
than a month.
the Christmas season, and then like I'm thinking if we aim for sometime early 2014.
That sounds so far away.
It gives you
But
plenty.
this is a huge game, though.
Well,
Like,
our goal is to do everything, right?
yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
We're not just going for end game. We're going for completion.
100%.
I don't know if I'm going to want to spend the time breeding a black chocobo again.
Okay. You don't have to get 100%, but you better have a damn good reason for skipping out on something.
And if you don't get Knights of the Round, you're not allowed to participate in the show.
Okay, thank you for saying that, because you need a black chocobo to get Knights of the Round.
Oh, shit, bitch.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
I thought you only needed a gold one.
And you need a black one to get a gold one.
I thought black was the highest.
No, gold is the highest.
Motherfucker. I know
Yep.
there's a way. There's another way to
You
get.
have to breed a black chocobo with a green chocobo.
There's another way to get Knights of the Round. I think it's some sort of a game glitch, but there is another way to get it.
There's also a way to keep Eris for the entire game. So
Bullshit, there is not.
there is.
There is not. That is
Yep.
the oldest wives' tale in all of gaming.
You want me to get my oh, my speaker's exploded.
What are you going to get? Your iPhone?
No, I was gonna get my iPad because I know exactly where to go to get it.
You probably also believe that about a third of the way through the game, when you're all spending the night in a hotel somewhere, and Tifa gets up in the middle of the night to talk to Cloud, or Cloud gets up to go talk to either Tifa or Ares, you can have a three-way with them.
That's you're dumb.
I remember hearing that when I was a kid, and I got to that point, and I'm like, wow, I wonder how you get the three-way.
Yeah, you know what? We'll save it for the show because I'm gonna own you on this one.
Okay.
I just would like to make a public service announcement.
Does this
to
have
you
to do with
guys.
hitting fire with a hammer?
Yes. SmokeyBear.com says to put out a fire, you can stir the campfire
on.
ashes and embers with a shovel or
Smokebear.com,
axe.
That's something that exists.
That's something that exists. It's Smokey the Bear. Only you can prevent wildfires by chopping up a fire with an axe / stir the campfire ashes and embers with a shovel, which is like an axe.
Yeah,
True
but that's
story.
already talking about fires that are almost dead. If we sent thousands of firefighters into a raging forest fire with nothing but axes, I think they'd be dead in minutes.
No, because the fire in the Firemen, the one that he hits with the axes, are little baby fires.
Okay.
Little baby embers.
So here's the thing. If the game were solely revolving around the fires on the floor, yes, I'd be okay with that. But there were raging fires on the wall. And
Yeah,
he was
and he didn't hit those.
bullshit,
The other
he
guy
didn't.
did. Whatever.
If we sent firefighters into the woods to hammer all the shrub, all the undergrowth with axes, sure, they might put that out, but the over flames would kill them.
The overflames.
That's what they're called.
I was
They're
going
like,
to say, we're being so accurate in the vocabulary that we have right now. It's ridiculous.
the over flames, the flames over you.
Yeah.
Okay, Kev, I want you to have Ares at the end of the game then.
I can't because I don't have the PC version.
Okay, that's the point. You're glitching with the PC version. The PC
So?
version was notoriously shit anyway.
You're shit.
I was just going to say that.
The definitive version of this game is the PlayStation 1 version, and you cannot get Ares at endgame.
Well, you know what? I'm not playing the definitive version then.
Are you really playing the PC version?
Oh, I'm playing the PS3 version.
Okay, so that's the definitive version. It's the PS1 version.
Is it?
They didn't remake it for PS3.
So? You know what, Eric? I'm done talking to you. Moving on.
Wow. So, what did you guys play?
I
Anything
played
else?
Bubble Bobble.
Tell me about Bubble Bobble, because I love that game.
It was so fun. It was just like you're a little dude and you're putting other little dudes into bubbles
Did you
and then
play
they
as-
would float.
Did you play as Bub or as Bob? Because That's
I don't
their
know.
names. You know that, right?
Really?
No.
Yeah. Bubble
I didn't
Bobble is named after Bub and Bob. You're fact checking me, aren't you?
No, I'm trying to look up the difference between them so I can tell you which one I did.
Okay. I think you're fact checking me.
I was the green one.
I don't know who that is. Probably Bub.
Yeah, Bub.
Bub. I had a 50-50
It was
shot.
very cute.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my.
Jess writes video game reviews. It was cute.
It was. It was just so like nice and like
Had you ever played it before?
no.
So, the point of the game, it's been years since I've played this. So, the point of the game, from what I understand, is that you need to put all these other dudes in the bubbles, and that's what kills them, right?
I pretended that they were floating away to rehabilitation.
What were you rehabilitating them for?
They were being mean, so they were getting rehabilitated so they could come back into the
Stop
world.
being so mean.
You're going to nice school.
Yes.
Um,
And then they turn into fruit. They leave you a present for putting them in rehab. Sometimes I like to make up stories.
gaming with you sounds terrible.
Or super fun.
Do they... I want to say I remember like marshmallow-shaped rainbows. Did those exist in that game? Like the Lucky Charm rainbows, they poop out somewhere?
There were like a bunch of things that you could get. Like one was a martini glass, I think. So that was
Okay.
kind of cool.
Wait,
And
so
then
you're sending them to rehab, and then you're drinking fruit-flavored martinis.
Yeah, not like alcohol rehab, like I need to be a better person rehab.
Maybe you're wallowing in self-guilt for killing them, so alcohol is your only escape, and you're so hammered drunk and cracked up on meth that this is what you're seeing.
Yeah, I prefer my way better. But there's like bananas and apples and other fun things that you could get. And then they had like the first round of guys they were pretty good. They were pretty easy. But then I was getting a little hardcore because you had things that shot things at you that looked like little ghosties, and then you had little like whale-esque type of bad guys. It was pretty fun. A little intense at times, but a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My favorite game with Bub and Bob in it, though, was Bust-A-Move.
Yeah, Bust-A-Move was really good.
We used to have Bust-A-Move tournaments with my grandpa after he would kick our ass at Tetris.
I would have busted so many moves in that tournament.
I was praying you weren't going to say "in my grandpa."
They had
Yes.
they had a Bust-A-Move arcade game at the university that I went to,
Mm-hmm.
and I could beat the entire game in one quarter.
Oh, it's like
Wow.
Snood.
No, don't compare it to Snood.
It is like Snood.
Snood is like Bubble Bobble, or is like Bust-A-Move.
Snood is way awesome.
Snood does have some cool sound effects. The Bust-A-Move games got kind of crappy after they left the Super Nintendo, though.
Well, that's because you don't get anything new in a game like that with better graphics. Like, it doesn't improve anything.
No, there's one that actually came out on the Vita, Germ something or other. I don't remember what it is, but it reminded me of Bust-A-Move.
I feel like it would actually get worse with better graphics because they'd be trying too hard and it would like
Yeah,
take away.
Germinator, that's what it's called. Yeah,
that game is perfect to begin with.
yeah, that game is great. It's difficult. It's super difficult, especially in the later levels when you don't have much time to line up your shots.
I feel like we should have a contest.
How could we do that?
Like, put your scores. Top scores.
Okay. Without cheating.
Without cheating.
Do you get a practice round, or is this just are we going?
Well, you can play as many times as you want, but just however high your score gets. And you got to post a screenshot of it.
I like that plan.
Do it.
Good plan.
Do it. Were Bub and Bob in any other games?
I don't know.
Because Bubble Bob or Bust a Move used to be called, maybe the other name of it is Puzzle Bobble?
Yeah, that's...
Is that the Japanese version?
I've heard of that version. I'm not sure if it's the Japanese version.
Damn it, now I'm going to go play Bubble Bobble tonight.
I really liked it. It was kind of like relaxing a little bit.
Not when you've got 15 grown people in a room screaming at each other.
True. I could see it.
Did you play anything else, Jess?
No.
No. I feel like I did, but not enough to really warrant talking about it.
I finally beat GTA.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So does that mean you're going to join me online and start playing around?
Absolutely.
Good. What was your take on GTA?
Do
you still
I surprisingly really liked it.
Do you still think Trevor is disgusting?
I do. He grosses me out.
Yeah,
he needs to put pants on. I can't stand when I change to him and he's in his nasty shit-stained underwear. That is disgusting. But he has like the weirdest sense of morals and he abides by them so much. It's so funny.
Yeah, like, they're not morals as we would traditionally call them, but they're his code of ethics and he stands by them religiously. Yeah,
but they also contradict themselves too. Like he's fine with handing people over to a cult, but was really pissed when someone was getting tortured. Like it's very interesting.
It's a great game.
You could do your thesis on Trevor.
Okay, miss.
Not
I'm
really.
going to get my doctorates.
Psh.
Rest of us plebeians down here
Yeah,
making minimum wage.
I tolerate you.
I know. Kev, did you play anything else?
No, nothing else.
All right. I think we should do some emails. What do you think? Yes?
Do it.
Okay. I did actually proof these this time.
Yeah, you did homework.
Mm-hmm. Because I wanted to actually be able to answer the questions intelligently. Yeah.
Still not going to happen.
We have Carl writing in. He wanted to clarify Persona for us a little bit. He says, I'm returning to tell you that Persona is a hybrid between RPG and making friends with animals and cancer patients to make demons to beat up monsters to save the world. Does that make sense?
What? Read that again. That didn't make any sense.
I'm here to tell you that Persona is a hybrid between RPG and making friends with animals and cancer patients to make demons to beat up monsters to save the world.
Okay, yeah, that made perfect sense.
Also, Persona is a spin-off of SMT, Shin Megami Tensei, and there are 4 in the series, and the first 2 are straight-up dungeon crawlers, so pick up whichever you want. Next, I'd like to reply to an email in last episode. I want a Parasite Eve HD remake. I actually agree with that. After our Parasite Eve show and seeing how great that game was, I'd totally dig a Parasite Eve HD remake. Apparently there's a book based on it.
Yeah, we discussed that.
We may have. I've got a terrible memory. Okay, that was that one. We've got an email from Rose Torres, Aaron's lover.
You totally even, sorted emails, you're really bored today.
I had a lot of time on my hands.
Did you not have to go to work or something? Did you get fired?
No, I had some downtime today. So, Rose, unfortunately Aaron is not here. She writes in, hello. It's Rose again. I don't think this is her voice, but it's Rose again with just a question. I would like to pose a question. If you could live in one video game universe, which would it be?
Don't all answer at once.
This one's hard because originally I was thinking Pokemon. So then I could have so many Pokemon and they would be my friends and everything would be awesome and like it would be so fun. But then I feel like I would definitely be against it because it would be animal cruelty and like
That's right.
animal abuse and everything like that. So
But don't
I
the
decided
Pokemon
to change
love to
it.
fight?
That's what they're born for. They're born to
Yeah.
be caught.
We don't know that for sure though.
Maybe they don't achieve their full destiny until they've been caught.
That's what I
By
used to think about
expert
Christmas trees.
And they... What?
Did you ever read Little Crooked Christmas Tree?
No.
It's about this Christmas tree, and what happened when it was growing, a dove needed shelter from the storm, and so the Christmas tree decided to bend its head over top so it would protect the dove from the storm, and it became crooked. So every year, all of the other Christmas trees would get to fulfill their Christmas duty, except for the little crooked Christmas tree, because no one wanted a crooked tree. So years after years after years, this tree grew huge. And then one day, I don't know actually if the dove made this happen, but someone cut down the Christmas tree and then had it in like town square for everyone to fall in love with the crooked Christmas tree. And so... when I was younger, I made
So
my
is
mom.
the moral of that story stand up straight?
I don't know, but I made my
I think the
mom
moral
buy
of the
like
story is
crooked
cut down
Christmas
the
trees.
Christmas tree.
Yeah, who cares what it looks like? Cut it down.
Yeah, it needs to fulfill its Christmas duty.
So you wouldn't want to live in the Pokemon universe.
No.
When I read this question, I instantly thought of you, and I thought for sure you were going to say the Fallout universe.
Yeah, but then I feel like that would also be really bad because it would be post-apocalyptic, so like all of my family would be dead probably. And
Maybe they're all mutants.
it would be depressing. Maybe.
And you're living in Megaton.
Yeah, could be. But then I think like the whole Mirio universe would be fun because you can like fly and stuff and like
I'm sorry, what universe?
Mirio.
Mirio. I'm not
Throwing it out there.
familiar with him.
Yeah. But that one.
Mario.
You gotta eat mushrooms,
Okay.
which is cool. You
Okay.
gotta save princesses.
So you want to save princesses.
Yeah. I think that would be a fun gig.
Kev, where do you want to live?
You know, up until I played the Fireman, I didn't know.
You want to be best friends with Pete and Daniel.
Coming in through that east entrance.
This guy's got it going on.
Oh God. How did that become so dirty?
You took it there.
I don't know. I would say either like the XCOM universe, so you could just bust some caps and some aliens all the time.
Okay, but with the XCOM universe, when you die, you're dead. Other universes...
That is entirely true in most universes.
But in video game universes, you can come back.
Good point, actually.
XCOM universe is one of those rare universes where when your character dies, they're dead.
So you're saying that I should pick a universe that gives me immortality.
I'm not trying to steer you anywhere.
Okay, but you are going to pick a universe that gives you immortality.
I don't know.
All right, I'm sticking with my answer.
Okay, you want to bust some caps and some aliens.
Yeah, either that or I would go with like not exactly a video game universe, but there's been video games, so like the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, hey, sweet, there goes Spider-Man.
Just
I wouldn't be a superhero. I'd just be like, hey, what's up.
But you'd be in that constant fear of what
Dying.
supervillain is going to come around and just beat the shit out of my city.
That could be pretty cool.
But then again, there's also that chance of, hey, my plane is crashing, Superman might show up.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, you take the good with the bad.
Okay. I initially was thinking, you know what, this is an easy question, I'm going to choose Mega Man, but come to think of it, that would probably suck major ass. Just constant demonic robots everywhere blowing shit up, that would probably suck. I don't know, I'd probably go with the Dark Cloud universe. Like Dark Cloud 2 in specific.
So not Dark Cloud 1 where all you do is build houses.
Well, you do that in 2, but you do it on a grander scale. It's got more of a Victorian feel to it, like a postmodern Victorian feel. And you can still go out in the dungeon. You can find all these little spheres with people hidden in them, and you can tell them where to live. And
So you want to be a dictator?
is that what that would be?
I don't know. I was leaning more towards you should be a carpenter. Then you can build people's houses.
Yeah. Why not be it in a good universe? Huh. Okay.
Now, if you die in that universe, what happens?
You just come back at the last door that you walked out, just like any other game. I mean, you can eat...
What happens to your body? Does it just disappear?
Who cares? You eat potato pie, and you come back to life.
Not grandma's pie, though.
You can't eat potato pie if you're dead.
Good point. Maybe you've got a tonic made of potato juice.
Okay, that's more believable. Or like a concentrated potato syringe to the heart.
Yeah, it's like a pacemaker, but it's like a potato maker attached to your heart.
Yeah. And whenever you need it, it just gives you a kick of potato juice.
Or it just replaces your heart with a potato.
Oh, God.
I don't think that would work. Next
Well, maybe in the Dark Cloud universe, potatoes rule the world.
I think so. Next email comes from Michael Kelso. This is the one that he wanted Aaron to read in his best Southern drawl. But unfortunately...
I guess you're going to have to do it.
This is basically the email where he said that he's comparing Zombies Ate My Neighbors, or the Firemen to Zombies Ate My Neighbors. He says, I have 2 questions and a long-term game suggestion. His first question is, did y'all ever use cheat codes like the famous Konami code or the infamous Game Genie? If so, what are some of your favorites? It's been a while since I've used cheat codes.
Yeah.
That kind of used to just be a staple of gaming. It's like, I'm going to just stumble upon this crap as I play it. And now with the internet out there, it's like, all right, here's all the cheat codes. It's like, well, it kind of takes the fun out of finding them.
Yeah, it gave you so much power to be the guy who knew the code.
Yes.
And then everyone was like, oh, can you come over to my house after school? We'll play a game and you can maybe tell me that code. And then you're like, no, I'm not going to tell you the code, but...
You can watch me do it. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
That's how Eric made all his friends.
No, I made all my friends because I had a lot of video games. Big difference.
Sorry.
I had a Game Genie. My parents got me a Game Genie for Christmas or birthday or something. I don't remember which. And it was the biggest disappointment ever.
Yes.
Is when I rented a game, brought it home, plugged it into my Game Genie, went through the Atlas, finding that game, and it's not in there. You're like, no, I have to play the game legitimately.
Didn't the Game Genie require like a small amount of math to actually create and put the codes in?
Well, no, it gave you, like, all the codes were jumbles of numbers and letters, and the Game Genie didn't even use, like, the full alphabet, so it used, like, 12 letters and, like, 6 numbers. And then you just jumble them together in, like, a 12 or something, however long, code.
Uh-huh.
And this book that came with the Game Genie is what gave you all the codes. So, I mean, if you were to lose that book, you'd have been screwed. Because the codes, none of them made any sense. Like, they weren't words, they were just jumbles of letters and numbers.
Nothing that you could commit to memory because your brain hates numbers.
Yeah. But I mean, all the codes in there were just like totally broken.
Yeah.
There was like how Aaron was talking about playing Dragon Warrior last week. If you plugged Dragon Warrior into your Game Genie, you could start the game with like 9,999 gold, or like level 20 already.
I didn't play too much with that. I was thinking about this, and the most recent cheat code, I guess you want to call it, is something that you showed me when I was up at your place with Mega Man and the super high jump.
Oh yeah.
Apparently,
I mean, that's not really a cheat.
well, no, but it's not something that you would otherwise know. Apparently, within that same game, there are 2 more cheat codes or cheating methods that you can utilize on the second controller, and one of them is if you hold up and press A, it freezes all the enemies.
Really?
And if you're holding up and A when you fall into a pit or on the spikes, you don't die. So, but I was thinking about other cheat codes I've used throughout my life, and I think the most memorable one is probably from the original Sims game, and I was just really into, like, I'm going to build this house, I'm going to decorate it, and I'm going to buy all this crap, and I didn't ever have enough money, so I found the cheat code, and I think it was Rosebud. You just type in Rosebud, and before I figured out that you could put a semicolon after it and just keep typing Rosebud and then copy and paste it as many times as you wanted, I'd type in Rosebud, hit enter, type in Rosebud, hit enter, and just keep doing that over and over and over. It only gave you like $1,000 at a time, but...
Yeah, I think I did the exact same thing with Sims 2.
Was it still the same cheat?
Maybe, but yeah, it was not a lot of money, but I remember both of my roommates were really into it at the time, so I'm like, sure, I'll play this game even though it looks like it's trash. Played it for real for like an hour, and then I'm like, all right, where's the cheats?
Yeah.
Get me through this piece of crap.
The game that I cheated the most in, like all of the time, I don't think I ever played it without cheating, was Age of Empires.
Really?
Oh my god, so much fun.
What cheats would you use?
Big Daddy.
Okay.
And then like there's one that it sped everything up like crazy. I think it was
sped
steroids.
up all your production times?
Yeah.
We need to get a 3-player, 4-player game of Age of Empires going.
Yeah, I shouldn't have told you all the codes.
I don't think you can use the codes in multiplayer.
No, probably not.
Oh.
I think some of the most famous cheats, though, come from the Grand Theft Auto series, and I think the one that I enjoyed the most is I think it was Grand Theft Auto 3, where you just spawn a tank. Just wherever you're standing, a tank spawns and just mass chaos.
Andrew does that all the time.
I haven't used any cheats in the new one yet.
Oh my god, all the time he uses them.
Cheater.
Gets helicopters. All the time.
Some of the other ones, though, like the input codes on the versus screens for games like NBA Jam or Blitz or Mortal Kombat, where you just pound the controller and like the icons flip through, and occasionally you'll get late hits in NFL Blitz or big heads in NBA Jam or stupid crap like that.
And even if you type it in right, like most of the time it's just a fluke if you get it. You're never going to remember what you did.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we would always just pound on the controller before the match started and hope we got something. And we'd always be pissed when one of us got something and somebody else didn't. Did you guys ever know about the original Sonic the Hedgehog debug mode?
No.
Yes.
It was super, super difficult to do, and I only vaguely remember how to do it. In the menu, there was an option, or there's a menu under options for sound monitor or something like that, where you go in and you can play the songs, but you would go in and you'd play a certain number of songs in a certain order, then you'd press a button combination and go back to the main menu, and then you'd go back in and play some more songs in a certain order, and then before you start the level you hold A and start, and then Sonic will show up as like a monitor or a ring or other objects within the game. It's just like this really bad LSD trip.
I used to do that all the time on my Sonic 1 cartridge.
Does that sound... I mean, I'm just...
Yeah, no, I pretty sure... I don't think I've beaten the game on the debug mode, but I've definitely played it on it.
Okay, because I vaguely remember that, but I know it had something to do with going and playing the songs in a certain order.
I think I'm not sure if that's what it was. Maybe it was Sonic 2 that I'm thinking of, but one of them, to get into the debug mode, you had to input the code in like this really small time frame when the menu came up, because it was like you had, when the Sonic logo appears on screen, there was like a 1 second or a 1.5 second window before the music would start, and you would have to get the whole code in before that section was done.
How many buttons was this code?
It was probably like 8 or 10 buttons.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really tricky to do.
That's nuts. Michael Kelso has another question. And I think we've talked about this, but he wants to know how we all met and decided to start a podcast together. Have we talked about that?
There's a magical day
where we were all walking together in a park.
with sunshines and rainbows and kittens.
No, it was... Factory Seal came to fruition a year ago this past E3. So E3 2012. I was out there with Matt Eads, Max, and Ben Schrader, and Aaron. And at the end of E3, Aaron and I just got talking about retro games and decided, we really enjoyed doing a podcast together. And at that point, Ben was supposed to be on board because he's the nerdiest of retro gaming people I've ever met. But we decided, you know what, let's do a retro show and just see how it goes. And we contacted Jess because Jess kind of stuck with us through Lord Voldemort Tower days and into Mana Tank, and
I'm awesome.
Just asked
so
her.
There's that.
Yeah, and that's that too. We needed the female voice to kind of get all the guys in.
Obviously.
And it's just kind of how it happened. It was just like an offhand comment, like, "Hey, we should do this," and we did. And then we just asked Kev if he wants to join, and Kev's here or he's not, and that's that. I mean, I wish we had like some sad, sappy love story, but we don't.
It's kind of romantic.
Yeah, Aaron and I were sharing a hotel. No, we didn't share a hotel room.
Your eyes locked from across the hotel bedroom.
So we should do a show. And I interpreted it as podcast. I think he may have meant something else.
He had the video camera all set up, pointing towards the bed, and
no!
I didn't think this was going to be live. God, you're sick. Michael Kelso also wants us to play Seiken Densetsu 3, or also known as Secret of Mana 2, which I didn't know they had a sequel to. Apparently it's a fan translation. You can find it online. Never heard of it. I haven't even completed Secret of Mana 1. Kev, you and I never finished our playthrough.
Yeah, we made it about, an hour and a half in?
Yeah, I didn't make it far. Okay.
Did those videos, I know you put like 1 or 2 of them up.
I still have them. I could put them up.
The rest of them, who cares?
Okay, so this next email is... I'm just going to read it because I see if you guys can help me make sense of it.
They need to change the font.
Maybe that's what throws me off. The guy's name, I'm assuming it's a guy, comes from a guy named Scale Enley. He says, "Greetings, Factory Seal Podcast, longtime listener, second-time emailer. It's great to hear the show go on. If you have any doubts as to the size of your audience, rest assured that you do indeed have more than one fan, as I have met a fellow listener in my travels."
What up? That's really cool.
It was a chance encounter at the local EB Games where, during a "they don't make them like they used to" type conversation, the subject of this fine podcast came up. I told this person that it was I who recommended that you try out the SNES game Terranigma. When they asked why the Factory Seal crew hadn't played it yet, I told them it was pointless to ask me as I have no idea, but I also went on to tell them that it was more likely that they did play it. It is, after all, the best game of all time ever, full stop, the end. It would be logical to assume that they were so awed and amazed that they realized their lives were essentially wasted up to that point in time, and that by comparison any other games they played after would be a pale shadow of what they had witnessed. Told this guy to be reasonable to extrapolate. They went to a therapist and used experimental psychoactive drugs in an attempt to wipe the memory of the game from their mind, in a futile attempt to return to the blissful ignorance they must have possessed prior to playing the best game of all time.
It's like sunshine of the spotless mind.
He goes on. He suggested that the crew probably hadn't gotten around to playing it yet, but I think my logic stands up just as well. I'm looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII episode. 2-hour-long episode, mini podcast for each disc, regular part of the show. However you do it, I can't wait to hear it. In anticipation of this, I purchased FF7 that Steam is selling. The menus work well, the graphics are spot on, and it supports my Logitech Noob Stick, but the improved audio, with the quotations indicating sarcasm, is total balls. Final Fantasy VII had one of the 7 best soundtracks, and they butchered it. Thanks, Steam. Anyway, love the podcast. Keep going. Regards, Scale, Dickensie, Enley, sent from my intergalactic hoverboard.
I like him.
That's a sweet email. I want to know where he's from.
I feel like that story is actually correct.
I wouldn't doubt it.
We've all
Doesn't
forgotten.
seem like the kind of story that someone would make up. If they're going to make up a story like that, why didn't he meet like a group of people who are all listening to the show? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that seems like a legitimate story.
Well, I was talking about the psychoactive drugs.
Oh. No.
Oh, I actually missed that part because I'm on psychoactive drugs right now.
I'm on painkillers.
I'm just coming off drugs. What do you know? Mark Haddock writes in, hello, fine people of Factory Sealed. I'm a long-time listener, first-time emailer. My name is Mark, and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I'm really enjoying the podcast and enjoying playing along with you. Up to this point, I have owned or have been able to get my hands on a copy of the games you have played, but have now hit a wall. I was wanting to know if you could help me out with an emulator so that I can keep up. I'm not very good with computers, and the last one I tried to use kept crashing on me. Any suggestions would help. Keep up the awesome work. Look forward to each show. Thanks in advance, Mark. Emulators are simple.
They have awesome ones for Macs, too.
Well, just here. This is the simplest way to do it. Create a folder on your desktop called emulation or emulators. Then within there, create another one for each of the consoles that you want. Go to Google. Kev, take note. Go to Google. Type in SNES emulator. The best one is probably SNES 9X, the latest version.
I like Z and SNES.
Okay,
better.
that's another good one, ZSNES. Either one of those is just fine. Z, same thing.
It's different.
No, it's not. Download it. You don't need to install anything. These emulators do not install. If it comes in a zip file, just extract it to that folder. Go back to Google. Type in the name of the game that you want, followed by the word ROM, R-O-M. Download the ROM, put it in the folder, open it up, and play the game.
The FBI is going to be all over us again.
However, you didn't wait for me to add a disclaimer, Jess.
Sorry.
Only download the games you own physical copies of.
Yes, otherwise it's illegal.
Otherwise, it's illegal.
I like Nestopia as well.
Nestopia and Nestor are really good SNE or NES ones.
I have Visual Boy Advance.
Oh, Jesus, I'm
64.
sorry. It's really easy. If you want more suggestions on it, hit us up on Twitter and we'll help you out. Harrison Hameter writes in, hey, Factory Sealed crew, I challenge all of you to complete Heart of Darkness for the PS1. This game is known for being quite difficult and for its cult following. The game was made by Eric Chahi, creator of Another World / Out of This World, and the highly acclaimed From Dust. Heart of Darkness is classified as a cinematic platformer, which includes games such as the first 2 Oddworld games and Limbo, to name a few. I don't wager much that Jess and Aaron will make it past the first few scenes, but give it a shot anyway.
Challenge accepted.
Done.
I'm owning this shit.
I've seen this game at the store, and I've actually never picked it up, so I'm going to play that one for next week for sure.
What's it called again?
Heart of Darkness for the PS1.
I'm going to make puppies cry with how awesome I am at this game.
I think you're going to cry.
Shut up.
I don't know. Okay, Daryl Taggle I know him from our Manitank podcast days. This is the first time I think he's ever written to us. Hey, Factory Seal crew, Daryl here. First of all, loving the show a lot. Keep up the good work. I've got 2 questions for you noodle sellers. Hopefully Swag's here to keep it leggy. If you could take any game series of any genre or style and put it into another genre or style, what would it be? For example, you could have a first-person-esque Final Fantasy game or a Mega Man open-world Retro City Rampage style game.
What I thought of immediately with this was the Portal Mario game.
Yes.
I thought that was really fun.
I would have to say, and he touched a little bit on what I would like to see, and to be honest, I would like to see a Mega Man game done in the style of one of the older Zelda games, where instead of having the side-scrolling levels, you have it's like a top-down or an isometric style game with each of the dungeons being one of the robot masters, and then you've got like a big interconnected overworld.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
I think like a survival horror Zelda would be fun.
Yes, kind of like a Resident Evil 4 style Zelda.
Yeah. And also, I think the best game that could ever possibly be made ever in existence is a really in-depth, hardcore RPG of Goof Troop. So you really delve into the heart of the characters and go into really what makes them tick. Spend a lot of time building up character development, and
Goofy is the Disney character with the most depth, so it only makes sense to have him.
You think so?
obviously.
Yeah, well, okay.
So that's my number one choice.
I think it'd be kind of cool to see any other style of RPG game done as a first-person style, kind of like Skyrim, and make it a lot more open world.
Yeah.
Or you could just mash 2 stupid-ass games together, like Star Wars Battlefront and Katamari Damacy.
I'd like to see a hardcore fighting game with all the characters from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, they do have that.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. It's on PSP. Dissidia, Final Fantasy.
Okay, first off, you used a weird word that I didn't understand.
I can't make it any simpler. That's what it's called. It's called Dissidia, Final Fantasy.
No, I was talking about the PSP thing.
Oh, you understood Dissidia but not PSP?
Yeah.
Okay. And then they've got Dewey Decim, Dissidia Dewey Decim. There's a bunch of Dissidia games. They're all Final Fantasy fighting games. And
doesn't sound like it's what I had just asked for.
Here's another one for you. Get this. Squaresoft back on the PS1 actually did make one with Final Fantasy characters called Air Guys.
Okay, if it's not called Final Fantasy : the fighting game,
it's got it's got Cloud, it's got Tifa, I think it's got. I'm not going to go any further than that because I don't remember. But it's got Final Fantasy characters in it, and it's on PS1. But no, you're right. It's not called Final Fantasy : the fighting game : made for Kevin Byer.
Do you know who ruined Tifa for me?
Who?
Do you remember back in the Voldemort Towers day?
Oh, don't bring it up.
Sorry. Body pillow. He had one.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That scarred me for life.
He was so proud of that thing, too.
And he, would bash every single cosplay ever. And that, I forget, you know above your lip how you have, your lip bumps or whatever those are? Between, your nose and your lip?
Yeah.
He knew, A, what they were called, and B, would criticize every cosplayer because theirs wasn't like Tifa's.
Oh, my God.
Not even joking.
Okay. He also has another question. What is the most dangerous / hilariously dangerous situation you've ever been a part of? For example, Eric's bed flying off his truck onto the freeway, and Aaron and his infamous escalator incident. Hilariously dangerous.
Once ended up on the shoulder of a interstate. I think they're interstates in New York City, which was a little scary.
That's it?
We took a wrong turn and we ended up there. I ended up in a graveyard once at 5 o'clock in the morning with complete strangers drinking.
Okay.
That sounds pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
How did you make it out?
Well, I thought could potentially get raped, but I didn't. But we met
That's
up
got to
with
be like
strangers.
the number one thing that goes through girls' heads in any situation.
I'm going to get raped.
Am I about to get raped? This looks like a rape situation.
Sometimes it's a fine line. It's a little worrisome.
Oh my god.
But that definitely went through my mind. I don't know. I didn't really live dangerously. I almost ended up on a tour bus.
How did you almost end up on a tour bus?
I was joking about my intellectual tour bus.
That's right.
I don't know. I'll think about this one more. I don't think I have any really fun stories.
Kev?
I had like a traffic one that was lame, and nobody cares about that. But I had one that I didn't think it was dangerous at the time, but everybody who I was with was like, dude, that was like really sketchy. I broke up a fight between two homeless guys one time.
Oh, man.
And one of them ran away, but the other one was like way too fucked up on drugs or whatever to run. So every time he tried to get up, I just push his face back down until the cops showed up. And then like he must have tried to stand up like 6 or 7 times, and just every time I just push his face and he'd fall down and I'd laugh. And then 2 of my buddies were standing like literally half a block away because they didn't want to get involved at all. So I'm on my cell phone with the police and just pushing this guy down. I'm like, yeah, no, he's not going anywhere. So the cops show up and arrest this guy and get my statement or whatever. And then I go catch up to my buddies and they're like, dude, why did you do that? What if one of them had a knife? You could have got stabbed. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
So what if I had a knife? I could have stabbed one of them.
And you do carry a knife.
That's the best logic.
I don't think I've been in any really scary, dangerous situations, aside from, the bed flying off on the highway, almost causing a huge pileup. I was skitching behind a car on my skateboard one time after school, and I thought that was a good idea on a cobblestone road, and fell off at 35 miles an hour and tore up my entire leg and arm and entire side, and that's, I don't know.
I actually have another good one too that actually your story just reminded me of.
Okay.
When I was younger, I went to football games, CFL football. I know it's lame.
Canadian Football League, yeah.
CFL was terrible. But we were on the upper bowl, so there was like 40 rows of seats, and then another bowl. You guys, everybody knows what a football stadium is like.
Yes.
And we were on the upper, and during halftime, they were launching out those foam footballs like they do at halftime. And my mom was with me, and I'm like, Mom, I got to go get one of those footballs. So she's like, okay, be careful, whatever. So I'm running full tilt as fast as I can from the upper bowl down to the lower bowl. I get to the like area where all the concessions are and start heading into the lower bowl, and I can see that they're like wrapping up. I'm like, oh man, I got to get down there. I got to get closer to the field. So I start running down the stairs 2 at a time, and then 3 at a time, and then 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 at a time. And I'm like, at the point where it's 7 at a time, I'm like, okay, now I can't stop. So I either got to keep going and barrel into the barricade at the very end and hopefully don't flip over and end up on the field. Because if I fuck up one step,
You're done.
I'm going to fall, and I'm going down concrete steps for like 40 flights. So yeah, I made it all the way to the bottom, needless to say. But marching back up, looking at all the looks on the people's faces who saw me do this as I'm going by, I'm like, yeah, that could have ended bad.
Oh, I totally forgot about a story that I have.
Me too.
You could go first because mine's way more epic than yours.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, when I was in, I would say probably kindergarten or first grade, I was at my babysitter's, and she was a less than reputable citizen, I guess. She's kind of trashy, trailer trashy. Didn't have the best car, but for some reason my parents entrusted my well-being to her. And we were driving home from getting ice cream or something, and I'm in the back seat in my little booster chair, and went around a corner to the right, and I'm in the left side, and as we're going around the corner, like 25, 30 miles an hour, the door pops open, and my seatbelt unbuckles, and I go sailing out the door into the middle of the road, rolling around. She stops the car, picks me up, puts me back in, gets home, and doesn't call my mom. Just waits till my mom picks me up and says, when she picks up, oh yeah, he fell out of the car today.
How old were you at the time?
Probably kindergarten, so 6 or 7.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Kindergarten is like 5.
Well, kindergarten, end
Not
of
for
kindergarten
him.
is like
You
6th
repeated.
grade,
Yeah, I
first grade
guess.
is 7th. I don't know. It was somewhere in there.
Well, if you graduate when you're 17,
You graduate when you're
Back-
18.
well, I
17.
graduated when I was 17.
It's 18 generally.
It's
no.
17.
Okay.
And kindergarten is your first year, so that's 12 plus 1 is 13. So take your age when you graduate, minus 13, and that's how old you were when you were in kindergarten.
Whatever.
So you would have been 5.
Okay. So I was 5.
Skills.
Daryl's got a suggestion for us. Oh, wait, Jess, you have your last story. Go ahead.
So, this is a pretty epic story. I was out for a walk in the middle of a forest, and these poor little kittens were really terrified with life because they were being chased by a bear. And then I went and I roundhouse kicked the bear.
I don't
And-
think this is real.
That's how I broke my foot. Roundhouse kicking a bear.
I think
I
you
fully believe, no, I totally believe that Jess would attack a bear with no weapons whatsoever to save a couple kitties.
I think you stubbed it in the kitchen.
No, I just stood up and broke my foot.
I broke the last story. I broke, honestly. Do you guys know what handbells are? Like handbell choirs where they're just
Oh my god, you would be in a handbell
No.
choir.
I was
Oh
not
my God.
I was not in a handbell choir. This is my senior year when I was in show
Glee
choir. They needed a quartet to accompany the National Choral Festival. I mean, they had people coming from around the country for this stupid-ass handbell festival where people just get up and ding these bells with their hands. I was sitting on the bleachers in the gym so goddamn bored that I fell asleep, fell off the bleachers, and broke my hand at a handbell festival. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, Daryl has a suggestion for us. He wants us to play a PS2 game called The Adventures of Cookie and Cream. It's seriously one of the best couch co-op games ever. If you could get your hands on it, it would be cool to hear what Eric and his wife, Aaron his wife, and Jess and Andrew think of it. That'd be actually kind of fun to have all them come on the show for a couple minutes and chitter chatter.
And there's naked pictures.
Yeah, apparently he put a naked picture of Ellen Page from Beyond Two Souls in here.
It's actually not naked. It's only cut from like her shoulders up.
Yeah.
It's not even her.
Yeah, it is. That's Ellen Page.
Oh, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Well, Ellen Page is a person, and that is a computer-generated image.
And who do you think the computer-generated image is based on?
You can say base... I'm not even talking. Moving on. Screw you.
All right. We'll save the rest of the emails for next show, because it sounds like Kev's a little tired.
Yeah, we've... I don't know if you know about start times, but we started like a good 45 minutes late today.
It's half hour.
40-ish.
So what are we playing for next week? We're doing Chapter 3 of Mother 3?
Yes.
Okay. And then whatever else we decide to play. I'm going to start working my way through this list of our gamer suggestions.
Oh, are we doing next week we'll do Mother 3 and then our challenge accepted.
Heart of Darkness. Yes.
Oh no, I wasn't going to do that. The
Bubble Bobble?
snood game.
Bubble Bobble? Or a Bust a
Yeah.
Move?
Bust a move.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
I need to pump myself up to make sure that I can totally own Heart of Darkness.
Well, I'll see if I can dig it out, and if I can find a copy of Heart of Darkness, maybe we'll play that too. But definitely next week, Mother 3, Chapter 3.
Oh.
All right. Kev, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Dinner Dangles.
Awkward silence.
I'm just going to wait until you guys figure out that you don't need to wait for me to tell you.
No.
Do you want me to introduce you every time?
Yeah, it makes us feel special.
Jess, where can we find you on Twitter?
At Jessam Clarkson.
And if you want to follow me, you can find me at Honest Pizza. That's going to do it for the show. We will be back next Wednesday because I'm not going out of town. And hopefully Aaron will be here for more than 6 minutes.
Yes.
He's a busy guy. He's got sailing to do and fish to catch.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the show. We will see you all next week.